Did you know that 85% of Americans over age 65 take at least 5 prescription medications every single day? The average 75-year-old now spends over $12,000 annually just on healthcare basics, not including emergencies or specialized treatments. And the most frightening statistic of all, 1 in 3 seniors will develop dementia or severe cognitive decline, often beginning with subtle symptoms as early as their 60s. These aren't just cold numbers. They represent millions of Americans who believe decline is inevitable, who accept as normal the loss of independence, clarity, and vitality. I'm sharing this because what you're about to hear literally saved me from becoming another statistic in our broken healthcare system. If you stop listening before I explain all 6 daily habits, you risk surrendering decades of vibrant, independent living that should rightfully be yours. The difference between spending your later years collecting prescriptions versus living with purpose comes down to information most doctors simply don't share. My name is Margaret Wilson. I'm 85 years old and I take 0 medications. Not for blood pressure, not for cholesterol, not for sleep or pain or memory. I still drive my own car, passed my driving test just last month with perfect scores. I live independently, manage my own finances, and remember names better than my 50-year-old son. What makes this remarkable isn't that I'm special. I'm not. I was a middle school English teacher for 40 years. I live on a modest pension. I wasn't blessed with exceptional genes. My parents both passed before 70, riddled with health problems typical of their generation. The difference is that I discovered 6 specific daily habits that transformed how I age. These aren't complex regimens requiring special equipment or expensive supplements. They're simple practices anyone can implement, regardless of current health or financial situation. Each takes just minutes but yields extraordinary results when practiced consistently. What I'm going to share with you today is the framework I've refined over 20 years. The same framework that's now being studied by researchers at 3 major universities and has helped hundreds of seniors in my community reclaim their health and independence. Listen carefully, because these 6 habits could be the difference between merely existing and truly living in your golden years. Part 2, habits number 1 and number 2. The first habit that revolutionized my health journey came to me entirely by accident during a visit to my daughter's mountain cabin in Colorado. I was 65 then and already experiencing what doctors called normal age-related issues: stiff joints in the morning, fragmented sleep, and increasing reliance on reading glasses. The cabin had large east-facing windows with no curtains. Each morning, brilliant mountain sunlight flooded the bedroom, waking me naturally around 6:30. By day 3 of my visit, something remarkable happened. I woke with unprecedented energy, my joints weren't stiff, and I felt mentally sharper than I had in years. Back home in Ohio, the contrast was immediate and disturbing. Within days, my sleep deteriorated, morning stiffness returned, and my mood darkened noticeably. That's when I connected the dots. It was the morning sunlight exposure. I began researching and discovered groundbreaking work by Dr. William Parker, a chronobiologist at Stanford. His research showed that morning sunlight exposure literally resets our circadian rhythm daily. Without this reset, our internal clocks drift, disrupting over 150 biological processes, from hormone production to cellular repair to brain function. Most shocking was his discovery that certain frequencies of morning sunlight activate longevity genes called sirtuins. These genes regulate inflammation, DNA repair, and cellular health, the very processes that determine how we age. His study of centenarians across 5 continents found consistent morning light exposure was more predictive of longevity than diet or exercise. The transformation I experienced wasn't placebo effect or coincidence. It was biology responding to one of our most ancient environmental signals. Implementing this habit is surprisingly simple. Within 30-45 minutes of waking, I spend 10 to 15 minutes outdoors or by a window, allowing natural light to reach my eyes without sunglasses. I don't stare at the sun, just experience ambient daylight while sipping my morning tea or taking a short walk. On cloudy days, I still go outside since the beneficial blue light frequencies penetrate cloud cover. During winter months, when I wake before sunrise, I use a specialized light box designed to mimic morning sunlight frequencies. These are inexpensive and widely available online. My neighbor Sarah was skeptical when I first explained this practice. Standing around in the morning light seems too simple to make any real difference, she said. But after struggling with insomnia for years, she was willing to try anything. Within 2 weeks, she reported sleeping through the night for the first time in a decade. 6 months later, her doctor reduced her blood pressure medication, noting consistent improvement in her readings. The most common obstacle people mention is morning time constraints. If that's your concern, remember that this practice requires no additional time. You can incorporate it into activities you're already doing, like eating breakfast by a window or walking to get the mail. It's not about adding to your schedule, but optimizing what you already do. The second habit that dramatically changed my health journey came after a frightening experience that nearly cost me my independence, perhaps even my life. At 72, I was rushed to the emergency room after collapsing in my garden on a warm summer day. The attending physician, a young doctor named Emily Chen, initially suspected a stroke, based on my confusion and slurred speech. After running tests, Dr. Chen discovered something shocking. I was severely dehydrated, with electrolyte levels so imbalanced they were mimicking neurological symptoms. What many doctors miss, she explained, is that dehydration in seniors often presents as cognitive impairment rather than traditional symptoms like thirst. She showed me brain scans demonstrating how dehydration shrinks brain tissue and reduces blood flow, creating symptoms nearly identical to dementia. Even more alarming, she explained that chronic mild dehydration is present in over 70% of Americans over 65. It silently stresses nearly every bodily system, accelerating aging and creating cascading health problems that are then treated with medications rather than water. The medications most commonly prescribed to seniors for blood pressure, pain, sleep, anxiety, and digestion all have side effects that can be caused or worsened by dehydration, Dr. Chen said. It's a vicious cycle. Dehydration causes symptoms, medications are prescribed. Those medications further dehydrate the body, creating more symptoms requiring more medications. This revelation was both terrifying and empowering. Could something as basic as water be at the root of many age-related complaints? Working with Dr. Chen, I developed a hydration protocol specifically designed for the aging body. Rather than the oversimplified drink 8 glasses daily advice, we created a time sequence that works with natural bodily rhythms. The protocol has 3 parts: 16 ounces of water with a pinch of high-quality salt immediately upon waking when the body's naturally dehydrated after hours of sleep, 16 ounces mid-morning and mid-afternoon with a squeeze of lemon for electrolytes, and 8 ounces 2 hours before bed, early enough not to disturb sleep with bathroom trips. The key insight was that proper hydration isn't just about water, it's about minerals. As we age, our thirst sensation diminishes while our need for electrolytes increases. Adding a small pinch of mineral-rich salt helps the body actually utilize the water instead of simply passing it through. I created a simple system to remember my hydration sequence. I fill 4 containers each morning and place them in locations where I'll naturally encounter them throughout the day. This visual reminder ensures I never forget, even on busy days. The taste adjustment took about a week. Now I actually crave my morning salt water, but the benefits were immediate and profound. Within days, my energy increased noticeably. Within weeks, the brain fog I'd attributed to senior moments lifted. Within months, my doctor noted significant improvements in my kidney function, blood pressure, and even skin elasticity. As Dr. Chen explained, proper hydration is the foundation upon which all other health practices build. Without it, even the best diet and exercise routine will yield limited results. Part 3, habits number 3 and number 4. The third habit I incorporated might surprise you because it contradicts what many believe about brain aging. For years, we've been told that cognitive decline is inevitable, that we simply lose neurons as we age, and our mental capacity gradually diminishes. This narrative is not only disempowering, it's scientifically inaccurate. Modern neuroscience has revealed that the brain remains remarkably plastic, capable of forming new connections and even generating new neurons throughout our entire lives. The key is providing the right kind of stimulation in the right dosage. Dr. Sarah McKnight, director of UCLA's Longevity Center, explains it this way. The aging brain doesn't lose its capacity for growth and adaptation. Rather, it responds differently to different types of challenges. What declines is not potential, but rather the brain's automatic engagement with novelty. We must become more intentional about providing mental stimulation. This concept of cognitive reserve, essentially a buffer of neural connections that protects against age-related decline, isn't built through passive activities like word puzzles or watching educational television. Those have their place, but they don't create the necessary challenge for substantive brain growth. Instead, research shows 3 specific types of mental activities create meaningful cognitive reserve: learning skills that require physical coordination alongside mental focus, like dancing or playing an instrument, studying a new language, and engaging in what neurologists call productive struggle, pushing through the frustration of learning something genuinely difficult. The aging brain particularly benefits from cross-training different cognitive domains rather than repeatedly exercising the same mental pathways. Just as a balanced physical fitness regimen includes cardio, strength, and flexibility training, complete brain fitness requires variety and progressive challenge. What's most encouraging about this research is that it applies regardless of your starting point. Whether you're already experiencing cognitive changes or simply want to prevent them, the brain responds to appropriate stimulation at any age. In 2018, a groundbreaking experiment at Riverside Community College demonstrated just how powerful targeted cognitive training can be for seniors. 300 participants between 70 and 93 years old engaged in a structured program combining language learning, music training, and dance for just 30 minutes daily over 6 months. The results were nothing short of extraordinary. Participants showed an average 47% improvement in memory function, 38% improvement in processing speed, and 29% improvement in executive function. The mental skills that help us plan, focus, and juggle multiple tasks. Even more remarkable were the individual stories. Elaine Johnson, an 83-year-old participant who had stopped playing piano decades earlier due to arthritis, not only regained her ability to play, but found her arthritis pain diminished. It was as if waking up those neural pathways created positive effects that rippled throughout my body, she reported. My own experience mirrors these findings. At 75, I began studying Spanish and taking piano lessons, both completely new to me. The initial weeks were frustrating. I forgot vocabulary overnight. My fingers felt stiff and uncooperative on the keys. More than once I considered quitting, but I persisted through this productive struggle, and the benefits extended far beyond language or music. My overall memory sharpened. I found myself recalling names more easily, misplacing items less frequently, and thinking more clearly during complex discussions. When I participated in a cognitive assessment at 80, the neurologist was astonished. "Your scores match those of healthy 60-year-olds," he said. "Whatever you're doing, keep doing it." The specific brain training activity that yielded the most dramatic results in the Riverside study was learning to dance, not following choreography, but actually creating new movement sequences. This combination of physical movement, rhythm interpretation, spatial awareness, and memory created a perfect storm of neural engagement. For those with mobility limitations, adapted versions showed similar benefits. Even visualization of complex movement sequences activated many of the same neural pathways as physical execution. The fourth habit that transformed my aging experience addresses another fundamental misconception: how we think about movement and exercise after 60. If you're like most seniors, you've received conflicting advice. Take it easy, don't push yourself, versus no pain, no gain, push through discomfort. Both approaches can be problematic for the aging body. Traditional exercise recommendations often fail seniors because they're based on research with younger subjects and don't account for how the aging body responds to stress. The no pain, no gain mentality can lead to injury and inflammation in older adults, while the take it easy approach leads to progressive weakness and frailty. What current research reveals is that frequency trumps duration when it comes to movement for longevity. Multiple brief movement sessions throughout the day yield better results than a single, longer workout. especially for maintaining joint function, circulation, and metabolic health. Dr. Michael Levine, a geriatric specialist at Mayo Clinic, explains, the aging body responds more favorably to frequent, gentle movement than to occasional intense exertion. Consistency and variety matter more than intensity. The three types of movement most essential for healthy aging are often missing from conventional exercise programs: vestibular training, movements that challenge balance, fascial stretching, gentle mobilization of connective tissue, and nonlinear movement, moving in multiple directions rather than just forward and backward. For those with existing mobility limitations, modified versions of these movements can be performed seated or even lying down. The key is regular, intentional movement in multiple planes, regardless of your starting point. As Dr. Levine emphasizes, some movement, however modified, is infinitely better than no movement. My brother-in-law Walter's experience demonstrates how transformative the right movement approach can be. At 78, Walter was confined to a wheelchair after multiple falls. He took 13 different medications and had been told his condition would only deteriorate further. After learning about micro-movement protocols designed specifically for seniors with mobility challenges, Walter began implementing a simple 5-minute sequence 3 times daily. The movements were tiny at first: gentle rotations of wrists and ankles, small weight shifts in his seated position, focused breathing paired with minimal stretching. Within 60 days, changes began that his doctors couldn't explain. His blood pressure stabilized, his chronic pain decreased. Most surprisingly, his balance improved, enough that he could stand briefly without assistance. By 4 months, he was walking short distances with a walker. By 6 months, he was using only a cane. Today, at 83, Walter not only walks independently, but teaches modified movement classes at his retirement community. His medication list has shrunk from 13 prescriptions to just 2. His doctor, initially skeptical, now refers other patients to learn his approach. The secret wasn't doing more, Walter explains to his students. It was doing the right movements consistently throughout the day. I moved a little, rested, moved a little more. I never pushed into pain, but I never went a day without movement. Part 4, habits number 5 and number 6. The 5th habit I'll share with you today emerged from what is arguably the most comprehensive research on human longevity ever conducted. Harvard University's Grant study followed 724 men for over 80 years, from college age until death, collecting data on every aspect of their physical, mental, and emotional lives. When the results were finally analyzed, the researchers were stunned. The single strongest predictor of longevity and health into advanced age wasn't genetics, exercise, diet, or smoking status. It was the quality of social connections. Those with strong social bonds were 3 times more likely to remain vital and independent into their 80s and 90s compared to those who were isolated, a more powerful factor than any other health behavior studied. Dr. Robert Waldinger, the current director of this study, explained, "Loneliness kills. It's as powerful as smoking or alcoholism. The physiological mechanisms are now well understood. Social isolation increases inflammation, disrupts sleep, compromises immune function, and accelerates cellular aging. Recent brain imaging has revealed something even more remarkable. Regular, meaningful social interaction actually preserves brain volume in regions typically vulnerable to age-related atrophy. People with strong social connections show significantly less shrinkage in the hippocampus and prefrontal cortex, areas critical for memory and decision-making. The implications are profound. No pill, procedure, or diet can match the life-extending benefits of genuine human connection. Implementing this research transformed my approach to social health. I developed what I call the 3-2-1 connection framework. Each week, I ensure I have 3 meaningful conversations where something personal is shared, 2 collaborative activities where I work with others toward a common goal, and 1 physical expression of care, like a hug, hand-holding, or shoulder massage. This framework is adaptable to different personalities and circumstances. For introverts, the meaningful conversations might be fewer, but deeper. For those with limited mobility, technology offers ways to maintain connection. Though research shows video calls yield far greater benefits than phone calls or texting, as our brains process facial expressions and vocal tones differently than words alone. My personal connection schedule includes a weekly walking date with my neighbor Caroline, volunteering at the library's literacy program every Wednesday, Sunday dinner with family, and a monthly book club. That's been meeting for over 25 years. These aren't just social events, they're life-extending practices as essential as any health protocol. For those feeling socially isolated, beginning can feel overwhelming. Start small, reconnect with one person from your past, join one community activity aligned with your interests, or volunteer once monthly in a position that uses your skills. The quality of connections matters more than quantity, so focus on interactions that leave you feeling valued and understood. The sixth and final habit I'll share with you today came to me through an unlikely source, but has perhaps been the most transformative of all. I call it the Brainwave alignment ritual, and its origins reach back thousands of years to practices developed by Tibetan monks seeking longevity and mental clarity. This ancient wisdom remained largely unknown to Western science until neuropsychologist Dr. Rebecca Goldman began studying the brain activity of long-term meditation practitioners. Using advanced EEG technology, she discovered that certain contemplative practices reliably produce specific brainwave patterns associated with cellular repair, stress reduction, and cognitive enhancement. Most intriguing was the discovery that these beneficial brainwave states, typically achieved only after years of meditation practice, could be induced more rapidly using specific breathing patterns, combined with simple visualization techniques. What we're finding, Dr. Goldman explained, is that the aging brain responds remarkably well to these structured, contemplative practices. They appear to activate self-repair mechanisms at the cellular level, while balancing neurochemistry in regions often disrupted by aging. Clinical trials at Johns Hopkins University confirmed these findings. Participants who engage in a specific 12-minute brainwave entrainment protocol daily for 90 days showed measurable improvements in inflammatory markers, stress hormone regulation, and cognitive flexibility. Particularly notable were improvements in heart rate variability, a key indicator of physiological resilience and longevity. The practice works by shifting the brain from its default stress-reactive state, dominated by beta waves, into a more regenerative state, characterized by alpha and theta waves. This shift creates what neuroscientists call coherence, a harmonious pattern where different brain regions communicate more efficiently. What makes this practice different from general meditation is its structured approach specifically designed for the aging brain. It incorporates precisely timed breathing, gentle attention focusing, and simple visualization in a sequence optimized for neurological benefits. When I first encountered this research at 73, I was intrigued but skeptical. Could something so simple really create measurable changes in brain function and overall health? I committed to trying the protocol daily for 30 days. The transformation was subtle at first. I simply noticed feeling more centered throughout the day. By week 3, friends commented that I seemed more present. By the 1-month mark, I was sleeping more deeply and waking more refreshed than I had in decades. Most surprising were my next blood test results. My doctor was puzzled by significant improvements in markers of inflammation and stress. Whatever you're doing differently, keep doing it, she advised. When I explained the brainwave practice, she was skeptical but couldn't argue with the numbers. Over the subsequent years, this daily ritual has become my non-negotiable anchor practice. On days when time is limited, I might shorten other habits, but never this one. Its effects seem to compound over time. My mental clarity at 85 exceeds what I experienced at 70. Cognitive assessments now place my biological brain age at 65, a full 20 years younger than my chronological age. My memory, processing speed, and problem-solving abilities continue to improve rather than decline. An unexpected benefit emerged in my financial life as well. The enhanced mental clarity helped me make better decisions about investments and expenses. My modest teacher's pension now stretches further, and I've even been able to help fund my grandchildren's education, something I never thought possible on my retirement income. The Phoenix retirement community, where many of my friends live, recently incorporated this brainwave practice into their wellness program after a pilot study with 200 residents showed remarkable results. Participants reported 60% improvement in sleep quality, 45% reduction in anxiety, and 38% improvement in memory function after just 60 days of practice. As Martha, one of the participants, put it, "I thought my forgetfulness and anxiety were just part of getting old. Now I realize they were symptoms of a brain under stress. This practice has given me back a sense of control I thought was gone forever. I never imagined at 65 that my most vital, clear-headed years might still be ahead of me. Yet here I am at 85, more energetic, focused, and independent than I was 2 decades ago. When friends exclaim, 'I want what you're having,' I smile and say, 'It's available to everyone. No prescription required.' I understand that implementing 6 new habits might feel overwhelming. When I first began this journey, I too felt daunted by the changes ahead. That's why I recommend starting with just one habit that resonates most strongly with you. Practice it consistently for a week before adding another. Some days will be easier than others. There will be times when you forget or feel too tired or busy. Be gentle with yourself when this happens. Consistency matters more than perfection. As I often remind myself, it's not what we do occasionally that shapes our health, but what we do regularly. If you're currently managing health challenges, please consult your physician before changing your routine. These habits complement good medical care. They don't replace it. Many doctors are increasingly open to lifestyle approaches when presented thoughtfully. Remember that the changes may be subtle at first. Our bodies respond gradually to positive inputs, just as they decline gradually with neglect. Trust the process and notice even small improvements. They signal larger changes happening beneath the surface. What matters most is beginning. Each of these habits builds upon the others, creating a foundation for vibrant aging that grows stronger over time. The morning light resets your circadian rhythm. Proper hydration optimizes cellular function. Neural training builds cognitive reserve. Movement maintains physical capacity. Social connection provides emotional nourishment. And the brainwave practice integrates everything into a coherent whole. I urge you not to wait. Every day spent in unconscious habits that accelerate aging is a day you can never recover. The health span you're laying the groundwork for begins today, with the very next choice you make. I invite you to join our Ageless Mind and Body community, where thousands of seniors are implementing these same habits and supporting each other's journey. In the description below, you'll find resources to help you begin, including guided instructions for each practice. What might your life look like 1 year from today if you implemented even 3 of these habits? Imagine waking with energy, thinking with clarity, moving with confidence, and engaging with life on your terms. Not as a passive recipient of care, but as an active creator of your experience. As the ancient proverb reminds us, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. It's never too late to reclaim your health, your independence, and your joy. I'm living proof of that truth, and I invite you to discover it for yourself.